Smarter Steels, brighter futures.
Welcome back. Still tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC-TV18. Salasar Techno Engineering is in focus. The steel structure manufacturer and EPC infrastructure player has gained over 104% this year. The company recently backed 2 orders worth 750 crore rupees from the state-owned Vidyut Vitran Nigam. Shashank Agarwal, the director of the company, is joining us now to discuss this and the business outlook as well. Mr. Agarwal, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, it's a big order that you've received this time around. Can you tell us what does it take your order book to? What is the order flow expected this year itself? And are these orders coming in at higher margins for you?
Good afternoon. So basically, these orders are for revamping of distribution sector for the government, which the focus is to improve the distribution sector, to improve the operational efficiencies and the financial sustainabilities of the DISCOMs. So as a part of that, we had already executed orders worth 250 crores over the last few years. And this is another order of basically 2 orders totaling to about 750 crores, wherein we'll be improving the infrastructure for distribution sector. So as as on date, the order book, including this order, exceeds over 2,000 crores. And these orders have to be executed over next 2 to 3 years. Till about 24, 25. And of course, the market is very competitive in terms of the margins. So margins would typically, depends on how the project is executed, would of course take the margins on a slightly better curve.
So Shashank, your order book, the current order book of 2,000 crore would compare with an order book of 982 crore as of 30th September, right?
Right. Yes.
Is this the peak order book for you?
Yeah, this is the highest ever order book for us as on date. Till date. Yes.
Okay. And what's in the pipeline? Could you give us a sense of how many orders are you likely to bid for? What are the tenders that are open? The quantum of it, and are you L1 in any?
Okay. We have a few more in the pipeline. We are also foraying into the international EPC sector, and we are lowest bidders in a couple of tenders there, wherein we are expecting some letter of intents and agreements to happen over the next few days, or maybe end of this month or over a period of the next month.
So how much will that add to your order book? Like the projects that you spoke about in the next 3 months of this financial year, what will this take your order book to? How much of an order inflow are you expecting?
So we are expecting another order flow of about 300 crores odd. Over a period of next 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And what about these international orders that you're bidding for? With geography, do you have the required size to bid for large international orders?
Yeah, we see these orders have already been bidded, and we are already lowest bidders. We have already been declared lowest bidders in a couple of tenders. We are just waiting for the LOIs to come in, or the agreements to be signed, so that it can be made public to
So what's the quantum of the LOIs that you've signed right now for the international orders?
The LOIs which we are expecting from the overseas standards is close to 300 crores.
100 crores.
300 crores?
Yeah, 300 crores.
Okay, so right now it's at 40 crores, the last known order book. The export orders were around 40 crore rupees. So now 300 crores additional you're expecting just from exports. I'm just a little confused.
So we have order book for manufacturing. Well, we have 2 order books basically. One is for exports of manufacturing product. Another one is for the EPC product. So when we say 40 crore was only for the export of telecom towers.
Okay.
It keeps on continuing. So we have another order book of almost 25-30 crores pending as on date for export of telecom towers and related infrastructure. Plus, this is the additional order which I'm talking about from EPC sector would also contribute to our manufacturing partly. And there'll be a lot of bought out items also to execute these orders in Africa and in other part of the world.
So if these L1 orders convert by the end of this fiscal year, what could the order book scale up to?
Of course, it'll exceed 2,300 crores.
2,300 crores.
Okay. So while your order book is looking good, one of the concerns has been debt for you. 0.9 times is the debt to equity as on FY22. It has been increasing over the last couple of years. What is the absolute debt in your books? And will you be taking more debt since you are applying for more projects or winning more projects here?
So basically, the debt is not long-term debt. This is all working capital debts, which are basically being used to finance the projects as well as the manufacturing. Yes, we do plan to take some more debt in terms of working capital, increase working capital limits from the banks to execute these orders. Because this year, we are expecting a growth of about 25 to 30% compared to the last year. And the year after, probably another 30-40% growth. Which would, of course, need the infusion of capital from anywhere, whether it's from banks or investors or anywhere.
Okay. Will you also look at tapping equity markets for it in some form, QIP or something?
Yes, that's also on the anvil.
Okay.
What's the size of the fundraise? Why the equity route?
No, right now it's just on the discussion stage. I mean, it will be difficult for me to divulge those informations.
But how urgent is the equity requirement? Do you think you would need to do a QIP, say in 2023?
Sorry, can you say that again, please?
No, I wanted to understand how urgent is the requirement of funds for you. Do you think a QIP is likely in 2023 in the next 4 months, or do you think it'll spill over in the first half?
It's not very urgent. We have capital to start the projects at the moment. Plus, we have ties up. We have tied up already with the banks for the increased working capital limits, which will sail us through this financial year, probably part of early financial year. And during next 6 months, we can plan something as a fresh infusion of equity.
So after 6 months or within 6 months?
Yeah, within next 6 months, I would say.
Okay, 6 months. All right. I was looking at your balance sheet as well, and in last couple of years, your debtor days and inventory days have been higher. What is the general, working capital requirement for a business like you, because you are in different segments, and will it come down from here?
So if you segregate EPC sector and the manufacturing sector, the EPC sector working capital requirement is, of course, is pretty large. Whereas the manufacturing portion of the company doesn't require that much of working capital in terms of number of days outstanding. So overall working capital, we are running at around 125 to 30 days, which we are at our level, we are trying to bring it down as much as possible. Plus, the new orders which we have received from PBBNL, there is a clause for early payment also from the government, which could help us improve on our cash flows and might bring down our working capital cycle a bit.
Okay. So prospects are looking great, 25 to 30% revenue growth or growth in this year, 30 to 40%, highest ever order book as well. But the concern is that promoter holding has fallen this time, 63% versus 69.7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. What is the reason here? Will promoters look to sell more?
No. See, promoters haven't sold a single share from the day one. We still hold the same kind of equity as we were holding the day one. But it's just that some few investors, institutional investors have come in, and we had done a preferential issue. So promoters in absolute number of shares are still holding the same numbers as they were holding on day one of IPO. The percentage has come down because we have issued fresh equity to, as a preferential as well as a QIP.
Understood. Okay. Yes. Mr. Agarwal, thank you for that clarification, and thanks for joining us and speaking about the business prospects and what's happening and the order pipeline as well. That's the word coming in from Salasar Techno Engineering, expecting strong growth in FY23 and FY24. With that, we'll slip into a short break now, and up next, we'll focus on some stocks and focus on Sula Vineyards. It's the new listing in our special segment, Midcap Spotlight. Stay tuned.